Video showing you how to make these pinwheels. These are the red, white, and blue patriotic ones, but I'm sure there's other types. I noticed that there really was not much instructions. There's no instructions in the packets when you order them, you get them. There is a little video that shows somewhat of how to do it, but doesn't show everything, and some of it's incorrect. So I'd like to show you what to do. There's kind of a 10-step process that I've come up with that seems to work. First is to open up the bag. Make sure you have everything you need, which will be the stick to hold it. There's a star, and then there's this rod with a little nubby part, and you're gonna have a blue and a red piece. So I'm gonna start with the rod, and there's a little nubby on here. I call it a nubby. It's like a ball and socket joint. It's a ball, so can you zoom up on this? And I'm gonna trim it off and try to trim it close to the ball, so there's not a lot of plastic sticking out of that nubby. Then I immediately take it and stick it in the middle of the star, so that we don't lose that. That's a very critical part of the whole thing. So then we put that aside for now. Now we're gonna go over to the blue starred piece, and in the center there are ears. I like to hold it so that the arms, the holes on the long part of the arm is sticking up for my right hand, and because I'm right-handed, so you could reverse it if you're left-handed, but and I start with the blue. There's little tabs, I call them the ears, and you just make sure they're sticking up a little bit. The red one should be going the same direction, and there are slots here. I'll take that, the axle piece that I just cut the nubby off, and I'll use that to prep the slots. I slide it in from the side, move it back and forth, pull it up a little bit. You'll see why. This is, for many people, one of the hardest parts of the whole thing, and what we want to do is slide those ears into the slots. You get one of them, I pinch it, and then line up the other one, and you should be able to get it in like that. That worked very well for me that time. Sometimes it doesn't, but you'll play around with it as I'm talking. Now you take your axle part, the little spear, go from the back, the blue, up to the center, and that should be fine. Then we're gonna start, I always start with a red, put it through the hole, and then you do a blue. The next blue, don't go the one behind it. You want to do the one, the next one over, and it's going to have to, if you got the right one, you're going to have to pull it around the elbow of the next red, and you put it in. And this, we will just continue red, blue, right around. All right, that part most people have figured out and get that quite well. It's now starting to look like a pinwheel. You take your star with the nubby that we put aside, and the flat end will be on top next to your thumb, and then the round ball socket nubby part goes into the top of that pole. If you push it down, it makes a little pump noise, and now you know it's in there. It will move around and spin. That's good. That's part of the joint. It's like the axle of a car tire. It has to be able to move. That's important. Now, here's what they don't show in the instructions. You want to take the top arm, which will be a blue one if you started with the red, and it's the top one that's touching the nubby. I don't know if you can see that there. I like to grab the end of the arm with my left hand, my finger, push it down, and then I push with my right to get it down there, and then I pull, and then it snaps into place. Now I'm going to rotate clockwise and do the same thing with the red one. I push it, and then grab, and then pull. Push. All we're trying to do is get those loops around that nubby. And I don't know if you can see that, what I'm doing right there. These loops have to be around that nubby. And I don't know if nubby is a real word, but it is what seems to work. There's 8 of them. You can hear them snapping in place. I'm doing it right. Now I've got all 8 in. You'll know you've got it because it's not pushed up against the back end here. There's a little bit of a gap and it will spin freely. This part's very simple. We just stick that in place, and I always do a test. If you push it into the wind and it spins freely, you've done it right. And that is all there is to making these stars. I hope that, these pinwheels, I hope that helps. So one more thing I wanted to say is if you get it down pat, if you got a lot of these to do, I ordered 200 of them, but a lot of people just get 100. You want to test yourself, see how fast you can do it. If you can do it under 2 minutes, that's really a good time. I do it like in 1:50, and I think I'm really going fast. My record so far is 1 minute and 28 seconds. So there's something to try to beat. I'm sure a lot of you can do it, but it's not going to be easy. So, and that's starting with everything in the bag. I open up the bag. That's when I start the clock. So that's fair is fair. Start with the bag, close.